Hey, welcome to Real Nerds, another fantastic Bradless edition of Real Nerds. Spoiler alert, that raspberry was James.
Oh, yeah, but I was talking about Brad not being here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Brad,
Pretty
fuck
lame.
you, Brad.
Yeah, it is.
You know what? This is 4 in a row. You're blowing us off for some pussy.
It's only
and nobody
4?
likes it. I think it is. Maybe it's 5.
I think it's 5.
Is it 5?
I think he has not been here for, well,
You know,
a
you might be
season,
right.
A season.
You might be right.
Yeah. I
What
think
a
when last he
dickhead.
was here, it was like springtime.
He's like the vein that spirals up your cock, just throbbing dickhead. I don't know what that meant.
That's horrible. That is absolutely horrible.
Then now you know how I feel about it. I'm not happy.
Wow, I don't even feel that strongly. I don't even know what that means.
It puts me in the red. And you know,
Whoa.
if Brad wants to be a real nerd, then he needs to start seeing some movies.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
Though you did say that he saw Planet of the Rising Apes.
Yep.
Or whatever.
And he said it wasn't too bad. So
yeah.
Way to make a believer out of Brad.
I actually
movie.
liked that movie less now because of Brad.
Awesome. Hey, welcome to the new episode of Real Nerds. We saw Attack the Block this week.
We did.
And before we get into our review, real news.
Do I start this?
You can start it. I was looking. I really can't find anything that exciting this week.
Not much. Yeah, a lot of stuff that was like, meh. And a lot of it has to do with, we can start off talking about D23 was this week.
It was.
This is the first year that it sucked a whole lot of life force out of Comic-Con.
Which is kind of shocking. I didn't know D23 was that big until really this year.
I don't think it was that big until this year. Certainly not with this like news kind of stuff. But the unfortunate thing is that unlike Comic-Con, where you actually get like releases and news, and you feel like, hey, this is cool. There's some stuff coming out of here, and you get footage, and the footage gets online, and there's Q&As where people are really talking about like their ideas behind stuff. D23 felt like a lot of people talking about, hey, they showed a clip from the Muppets and it was really fun.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of actual news coming out of D23. It was mostly just clips.
Yeah, the only thing I saw was pictures of like the Avengers together.
Yeah.
And by the Avengers, I mean the actors portraying the Avengers standing on stage and waving at people.
Right, which wasn't much. The biggest news thing actually came out of the Pixar panels, which we know that the Monsters, Inc. prequel comes out next year, and we know that Brave comes out next year, and I guess they showed a clip and talked about that movie some, and it sounds really good. The biggest announcement thing, though, was that they officially announced Dinosaur, or it's a Pixar movie about dinosaurs. I think Dinosaur is a tentative title since there's already a Disney movie called Dinosaur.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things, it's been around, I don't remember what DVD it was, but there's a special feature video where in the background you see mock-ups of a big, long neck, Brachiosaurus type dinosaur with a little kid walking next to him. And people are always like, well, this is not a Pixar movie. What Pixar movie is this? And it's sort of been passing around, and every now and then you'll see little things about it, and then now, in the last month or so, it's been clear that that is going to be a movie released in 2013, I believe, or 14. As of next year and for the foreseeable future, there will be 2 Pixar movies every year, which is exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of news where it's like, yeah, okay. There's nothing to talk about there. It's just like...
My big news is I found out that Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are dating.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so
I didn't know this.
Connection on the Spider-Man set.
I heard, everybody talks about how good their chemistry was.
Yeah, Peter and Gwen together again, finally.
That's kind of cool.
It is cool.
I mean, in the weirdest, like, celebrity paparazzo kind of way.
And the only reason I found out just before you came over today, I was goofing around on Movie Phone, and they said how he was beaming about how amazing she was in Spider-Man. And
yeah, she was.
Yeah, and that one of the reasons why is because they're dating now.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of interesting. But why I looked at the article is because it said that he was afraid of the success that comes with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I remember Tobey Maguire was afraid of the same thing because, now people look at Tobey Maguire and, hey, he was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting that both actors have the same feelings with the character. And I guess Andrew Garfield is the biggest Spider-Man fan in the world, and
his speeches at Comic-Con was pretty endearing.
It was, and he said he used to run around when he was 2 years old pretending to be Spider-Man, so it's kind of cool that...
He said that Spider-Man saved his life, which was pretty
That's amazing.
Bombastic, at the very least. I would say I give him about 6 months before some creepy basement dweller kills Andrew Garfield in his sleep because they're in love with Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Maybe a year, but
what a cute
6
couple.
months.
What a cute couple.
For now, until one of them's dead.
Aww.
I know. I didn't want to say it.
And you did.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something that you have absolutely no interest in.
Cool.
David Foster, who is a guy that I've never heard of, and you've probably never heard of, and he's a producer. He makes some movies. Mm-hmm. Actually, there's a lot of David Fosters. I honestly, and the news articles never say like which David Foster it is, so I really have no idea which David Foster it is. But it doesn't matter because none of them are really famous for anything. Yeah. I mean, they've all produced movies that you've seen, but
sure.
Anyway, he's come out this past week and says that he really has a good idea for a Star Trek show, and it seems like something that might actually happen. They might bring back Star Trek as a television show.
Syndicated again, or like a weekly primetime show?
I'm not really sure. Probably as a weekly primetime show. It'll be not like the new movie. It's gonna be in the old universe. It'll be more like the original. He keeps saying the original Roddenberry vision, which means it'll be more politics and planet stuff than action fighty stuff, which is good because the truth is that the most action like show, Enterprise, is also the one that killed the series. So I think it's fantastic. Even if it's garbage, I want there to be a Star Trek show on TV.
Seems like there should always be one.
Yeah, absolutely. Ever since Next Generation was so good, I always want there to be one of those. Even if it's only okay,
Yeah, it's all right.
Even when I stopped watching Enterprise, I was glad that show was on the air.
Sure, I saw an episode of Deep Space Nine because The Rock was on it.
Yeah, he was on Voyager too.
Maybe it was the Voyager one.
Oh,
Was
okay.
he like the bad alien on Voyager?
Well, of course he was.
Yeah.
Was he
like fighting a guy in like a pit?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
that
that's
was
the
on
one I
Voyager.
saw, that was
Yeah, it wasn't
Voyager.
DS9. Not a bad episode. I get not the best, but
The Rock.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is gonna break your heart because I know you cared a lot about this movie. It was on your slate of things you had to see, but Mick G's Ouija is dead.
What?
We're not gonna get to see Ouija.
Oh man!
At least not anytime soon.
We're still gonna Well, I'm not gonna see it, but Battleship is still gonna see.
You're not gonna go see Battleship with me?
Well, if you want me to go, I'll go see it.
Okay. I don't know that I want to go. But when it gets close, if it's as ridiculous as it looks, I might want to be there. Or buy a ticket to something else and sneak in.
Or how about we do this? I will see it as a matinee at the movie theater by my house. The first matinee on every day is like $5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah, so don't have to really waste a lot of money, and then we can make fun of it.
Yeah. I always talk to Big Talk about going and buying a ticket to Zombieland and then sneaking into 2012, but I never did it. So if I said the same thing about Battleship, I probably wouldn't see that either. But it's got Rihanna in it. I have to see her deadpan face.
That, and I'm really hoping that all her ADR is auto-tuned.
Oh, yes.
That's my.
I want to see her.
It.
I want to see her fire all the guns.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. Do you care at all about Ghostbusters 4?
3?
3. You're right. Ghostbusters 3.
No, but Dan Aykroyd seems to care a lot about it.
Yeah, he does. But I obviously don't care enough to know how many Ghostbuster movies there are.
But still, the only thing that kind of irks me about the whole article is Bill Murray thinks he's too good to do Ghostbusters or something. And I'll tell you something, Bill Murray.
It's weird.
You're not that good.
Yeah.
Because you've made all these stupid movies since Lost in Translation, sans Steve Zissou, which I actually liked.
Yeah.
But you're not that important, and you kind of come across as kind of a fucking asshole.
Yeah, it is one of those things that people talk about a lot, that he is kind of a dick.
I mean, what else,
it's one thing
what else is he going to do? Another movie that grosses $500,000? Fuck him.
It's one thing for a lot of big stars have big heads and get stories about them being dicks that aren't necessarily true. Not everybody's gonna like everybody, and
Yeah, no, that's
unfortunately, the rotten stories come to the top. But if he were saying this because, like with Indiana Jones. Actually, it's the exact opposite of Indiana Jones. If he were the holdout because he thought that the script wasn't good enough, fine. But it seems like everybody else is on board, and he's just not, he doesn't want to play a game.
Doesn't want to do it because he's a butthead.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what actually turned the tides for me with Bill Murray is I enjoyed Lost in Translation.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was okay in it. At the Oscars, when he lost, he did this, like, fake clap and rolled his eyes.
Oh.
Like, he deserved it more than... I don't even know who won it.
Oh,
I think it was
what a dick.
Denzel Washington, actually.
Oh, well, he didn't deserve it because Training Day is a bullshit movie.
But maybe it wasn't that one. But anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, no, it's always shitty.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I should have won this because I was in a movie that was average.
Yeah. And especially for, winning is really not important. The fights happen when the nominations
Exactly.
come out and everybody's like, how come this or that didn't get nominated? So the fact that he was nominated, good enough. It
Exactly.
really is.
And he's not going to get nominated again.
No.
Because I can't see him in the foreseeable future being in a movie I want to see.
Yeah. Well, Zombieland. That was a great cameo.
He's great in Zombieland.
Yeah. When he apologizes when he says that his one regret was Garfield, that.
Yeah, it's funny.
I saw Garfield in theaters. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
I did.
Did you see The Tale of Two Kitties in theater?
I didn't. No, because I didn't see The Tale of Two Kitties because I saw Garfield in theaters, Ryan.
But, it's really disappointing because, in the 80s, I did really like Bill Murray's characters.
Yeah.
Whether it was Stripes or Groundhog Day or Ghostbusters, but it's really...
And sometimes he shows up in things, and I still like him. But I don't know. The truth is, back when they were talking about Ghostbusters 3, that was going to be mostly like Seth Rogen and those guys, I was like, fine,
Yeah.
as long as you're not remaking Ghostbusters, or if you're rebooting it or whatever, that's fine.
Well, I was reading the article with
make a good movie
Dan
and don't sit
Aykroyd.
around just talking about bullshit all the time.
And he said that it's basically them passing the torch. Dan Aykroyd's character's too fat to put on the backpack anymore, and Egon... you have to read the article, but it's basically it's grumpy old men with Ghostbusters, and they're passing it along.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Egon has been making shitty movies for the past 15 years.
He has.
That's why he can't fight ghosts any longer. But just before the podcast, we got to watch the Lock and Key trailer.
And it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's really sad. That doesn't make sense why they just, because it's too good, they're going to decide not to make it.
And on the way over here, I guess we haven't talked about this on the podcast before because you didn't even know that this thing existed, I guess. But they made the show like back in January or something, or they were talking about making it a year ago. And it should have started this fall. And then when they were finished with it, Fox didn't pick it up, even though they spent all this money on it, and it looks beautiful. Basically because they didn't think it could sustain an entire show, because a fifth of what will be the entire comic book series is the first pilot. Now, there's no reason to think that they couldn't, start making things up after that point. They're not writers or anything. But Fox basically canceled the show because it was too good. It was originally imagined as, I think, a movie and then a miniseries.
Well, yeah, they could still do a miniseries, couldn't they?
I wish, but at this point, because they'd have to do it very quickly in order to get those actors back, because the casting is just wonderful, and it looks
cool.
perfect. And the one thing that I wanted so bad, and this is spoilers for the comic, I wanted to see. It looks like they cast a girl as Dodge. I wanted to see that girl play boy version of Dodge.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how they were gonna solve that problem in a real TV show. I don't know. It's heartbreaking.
It is.
I want that show.
It sucks.
At this point, all I want is for them to release it some way. Even if it gets leaked on the internet and I have to steal it, I need to see this thing.
You hear that, Fox? Put it out, and James will buy it.
I will pay you at least $10.
Or you can have him steal it. Your choice, Fox.
Oh yeah, no.
We just
if it gets
down.
out there, there will be no hesitation. If it leaks out there, I'm stealing it. I'm not going to bed until it's downloaded.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though, from the sounds of it, it's just like the book, so I already know the story.
But still, it's kind of cool to see it come to life.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just like The Walking Dead. Even though the first episode of The Walking Dead pretty much was the first 3 or 4 episodes of.
No, it's the first couple pages of the comic.
Yeah, exactly. It's still fun to watch. You know?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. And then the last thing is that The Room is playing in Denver in a couple of weeks. Which, do you know anything about this movie?
No.
It's a little independent movie made by a guy named Tommy Wiseau, who's fucking insane. Mm-hmm. Really, just insane. The guy is crazy to the point where some people think that he is actually like a character.
Really?
That,
like Tim Burton.
Worse.
Wow.
I just made
movie magic.
he wrote and directed this movie that is it just looks like the worst. I should have showed you the trailer because it's amazing, and it's formed a sort of cult following the way that Rocky Horror Picture Show has, where there are things like people will bring spoons to the movie and throw spoons at the screen because there's a scene where somebody asks for a spoon or something. Weird things where the continuity doesn't make sense, the writing doesn't make sense, and it's supposed to be a drama, as far as I know. And his sequel, Tommy Wiseau is making another movie soon, which will be titled "The House That Drips Blood on Alex." I believe that's the full title.
The House That Drips Blood on Alex.
The trailer for which is Tommy Wiseau getting blood dripped on him while he screams.
Cool.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, I need to see it when it comes to town, or it'll be at the Esquire. I think they show it a couple times a year now.
Huh.
I have to see this.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and I'm saying this especially since Brad's not here, because Brad will probably want to go with me.
You probably would, but we don't know because Brad's a douchebag.
Anyway, that's news.
Yeah.
Unless you got anything else.
No, I have absolutely nothing this week.
All right.
Cool. Hey, I watched 2 things this week.
Cool.
I watched Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh!
Which is pretty fun.
I haven't seen it.
It's literally a hobo who walks around and shoots people with a shotgun. And the name of the town is Fucktown, so it's kind of funny.
Do you know the story behind how that movie got made?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
so it's kind of cool how it was made, and Rutger Hauer's really good in it, and he literally he gets fed up with... Basically, there's a crime lord in town. He has 2 punk kids, and they just terrorize people. And one day, he wants to buy a lawnmower to open up a lawnmower company to mow lawns.
Yeah.
So he's peddling money to get this, and how he gets the money he gets, $50, is this dude basically films hobo fights, and he gives him $10 to do stuff. So Rutger Hauer humiliates himself to get... And by the way, his name in it is Hobo. He doesn't have a name in the movie. That's why I keep on saying Rutger Hauer. And so he does that, and when he goes to the pawn shop, it gets robbed. And he gets so fed up with these guys treating people bad that he starts killing them.
Does he buy a shotgun instead of a lawnmower?
He does. Actually, he uses the shotgun, and then the shotgun's $50 too, and he puts it on there on the counter, says, "I'll take this," and he leaves. He just starts killing all these people that the guy who humiliated him, and then the big crime lord finds out, and he gets all mad, and it's like a revenge tale, and he falls in love with a hooker.
That's cool.
Or not? I guess more of a fatherly to the hooker. So
yeah.
I guess love's not the right
word. Maybe like Leon falls in love.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's totally over the top.
Cool.
And it's the whole movie shot like Grindhouse style, obviously.
Right.
And yeah, so it's fun. It's streaming right now on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you should watch it because it's really violent.
And the story, for those who don't know, is that when Grindhouse came out, they had a competition for like fans to just make their own Grindhouse trailers. In the spirit of the ones that are in the middle of Grindhouse, and the one that won was Hobo with a Shotgun, it was a great trailer. It really was.
It was. And he branched out to a whole movie.
Yeah. And I think they signed up Rutger Hauer without a script or something like that. Like they called him up and were like, hey, "Look, we got this awesome thing," and he was like, "Cool."
Yeah. And my favorite person that he kills in that is a dude who dresses up like Santa Claus and molests little kids, and he just walks up and shoots his face off. So it's cool.
Cool.
And yeah, so I say watch it. It's a movie I had fun watching. And I also saw Cedar Rapids with Ed Helms.
Oh yeah,
where he's an insurance agent, and they go to Cedar Rapids because he wants to win the 2 Diamond Award, and it's just zany
That was big coming out of Cannes or Sundance.
Yeah,
or
so one of them, and it was pretty funny. I mean, there's some parts in it that, whatever. John C. Reilly's really good in it because he's like the skis ball insurance agent guy, and then and Anne Heche is in it. She's pretty funny. Yeah. And if you're bored one day and you want to watch kind of a funny movie,
is it on streaming or did you just rent it?
I went to Redbox and got it.
Oh, cool.
Because I actually wanted to see it for a long time, but I didn't know if it was any good because it's also one of those independent comedies where they can go either way. And if the actors who weren't in it, I don't think it'd be as good.
Right.
So yeah, check it out. I really can't describe jokes in it, or basically he just goes to this convention and what happens, this zany convention thing.
Cool.
That's about it. So yeah, that's what I saw this week.
Well, last Saturday I saw Conan.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Which...
Am I missing out?
Yes. I will say yes. It's really fun, and if your expectation is to see a Conan movie, then that's pretty much what you get. When he's kicking ass, that movie is pretty great. It also has the most boobs per minute in any movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just constant. There is literally a scene where he attacks some slavers and releases like topless slaves from slave cages.
That's
just hordes
amazing.
of, well, not hordes, it's like 12, but still.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. The story has Rachel Nichols is in the movie playing the worst MacGuffin I have seen in a movie for a long time.
Really?
Rose McGowan is not that good. She's over the top and she's never been good.
Yeah, actually, I think every review I've read of that is the action's really cool, but then when they stop and act, it's terrible.
Yeah, and it's some of that has to do with the budgeting, like.
It's not big budgeted?
No, well, it's a rated R action film, which, while you think, like, well, it's Conan, but because it's rated R, it means it automatically has a pretty low budget, because it can't make its money back as easily. And you see it in certain places, like when they go, a friend of mine pointed this out to me, the movie is constantly going to another place. Like, you're here, they fight, and then they're like, we need to go to this other place, and then there's a wide shot of that place and a title that says, hey, this is the name of that place. And then you go in. And it's because the books set up this vast world with all these different races, or not races, but ethnicities and such. And they're trying to have that same sense. But because they're doing that, what ends up happening is, like, you go to the evil city, and when you get to the evil city, you're like, wow, look at how cool the wide shot of this evil city is. And then basically you're in a room in a temple where there's two guys there, and it never feels like it's actually a thing that people complain about with Thor, where it never feels like a populated place. It's more like, well, we got these little scenes, and it's because of the budget of the movie, and so it suffers there. It's a movie where I didn't know it, but I really wanted a cave shaped like a skull, and it delivers. That's the kind of movie that Conan is.
Nice.
Also has one of the best ends to a romance ever. Do you want me to spoil it? I kind of want to spoil it.
You know what? You can spoil it.
Okay, good. So, Rachel Nichols, at some point, this is Conan, he's going to bang her. So he does, right? And then they leave, and they go and they save the world. Spoilers. That's a real spoiler.
What?
Right, they win in the end. Because,
Wow.
They got to make sequels. Which, I should say, the best thing I can say is I would totally see a sequel to this movie. So, after that, they get on their horse, and they ride, and he takes her to the place where she was born, and we get a wide shot of the city where she's born. And we're like, down away from it. It's in the background. There's like a river and a cliff, and the city's over there. And she gets off the horse, and she's like, well, I know you got to leave. And he's like, yeah, I do. Sorry, baby. And he takes off. And I'm going, are there stairs? Is there a way for her to get over there to where the city is? He didn't even leave her at the front door or the back door. He didn't leave her in the city at all.
Peace.
Yeah, it was like, well, yeah, that was fun. I'll see you later. Maybe. Probably not, though. So it was fun. I would say definitely rent it.
Okay.
Because it's worth it. And then I saw two other things. I saw Regarding Henry, which is a Harrison Ford movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's the first. Yes, it's the first real J.J. Abrams script.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
And he's actually in the movie.
Is he really?
Yeah, he plays the pizza boy.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, when Henry escapes from the house, that's
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams, which was so cool. I was so excited. I'd never seen the movie, and I had no idea. I didn't even know a trailer or anything. I had no idea what the plot of the movie was. It's a great movie. It
is.
really is.
I haven't seen it in years, but I remember liking it.
Yeah, not a particularly well shot movie, which is weird because it's Mike Nichols is a big name director who, I mean, he made The Graduate, but regarding Henry feels like he hasn't learned anything since he made The Graduate. It's a lot of zoom shots and just weird. I don't know. It feels old. And then the last thing, I may not be invited back to the podcast on this.
Oh,
one.
yeah?
Yeah, I've talked about watching Twilight, but this afternoon, and I'm not making excuses, but my mom was like, "Hey, I want you to sit down. We're gonna watch this movie together." And I watched Steel Magnolias, which I have never seen before.
Now, what did you think?
I may have to swear a lot in this trailer just so that my balls don't fall off. It's the pimp shit. That movie is good.
I heard
it's really good, and Sally Fields is dope.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Just great. She's great. Don't look at me like that, judging. Yeah, so it's fantastic. It really is. Totally ladies' movie, but that's okay.
It's okay
that's
every once in a while.
Yeah. And no. There should be more of them. Just doesn't have to be my cup of tea. But it's a movie that passes. I don't remember what the name of it is, but there's this test about how many movies there are that have a scene in which two women talk about something that isn't a man. And most movies fail it. The list of movies that pass that test are very, very short, unfortunately. And this movie is that's what this movie is. Like there are men, but they're in the background shooting at birds and shit.
Nice.
Like, yeah, it's pretty great.
Cool.
Yeah. That's everything I saw.
Maybe if my mom wants to watch it, I'll watch it.
Yes, if your mom wants to watch, or your wife, sit down and watch the
I don't
movie.
know about that.
All right, well then don't want to. She'll hit you a couple times.
She just
She'll be
flipped me off.
Men.
Laura, this is my show. You do not flip me off on my show. What was that voice I just gave myself?
I don't know. That was something horrible.
It was.
Yeah.
Now you know how serious I am about this.
Yeah, about how much you hate your wife.
I love my wife. She's awesome. Have you seen the decorations
That's
she's
not-
making for my
That's not what the voice said.
Spider-Man party she's throwing for me?
It is pretty crazy. Yeah.
It is. I guess she loves me. Whatever.
Though it bothers me. Well, this is an entirely visual thing that podcasters won't understand. But it bothers me that the one Spider-Man isn't in the middle of the banner because Happy Birthday the Happy and Birthday are not the same length words.
Yeah, the
So
one
it
thing
hangs
I always
weird.
bothered me about this, there's nothing she can do about it, but why do they, as Spider-Man merchandise, why is he a CGI Spider-Man?
Is he?
You know what I mean? It's like he's
I
computer
wear glasses, so I can't see that far.
generated. It's like someone drew
Oh,
it and they
yes.
colored it in with computer stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
They do that on all the stuff like this lately. And that's why when I was at the
probably
Disney
cheap.
store, is my guess, I was at the Disney store and I wanted an aluminum water bottle for work because I'd always throw out cups when I'm at work. And, so I was debating between a Mickey one and the Spider-Man one. The Spider-Man one wasn't like a comic book Spider-Man. It was that CG Spider-Man, so I didn't get the Spider-Man one.
Speaking of speaking of Spider-Man, I'm excited for Sally Fields now.
Yes.
I wasn't before because I was just like, yeah, she was in Smokey and the Bandit and Forrest Gump,
And the Flying
both
Man.
of which I adore. But yeah, I hope she
But
kills
now
it.
you can.
Yeah, she's
So,
amazing.
you know what we did tonight, James?
What did we do?
We saw Attack of the Block.
Did we?
We did.
Oh.
And what did you think of Attack of the Block? Attack the Block,
as
sorry. Attack the Block.
As part of our new format,
Yes.
we're gonna quick review trailer, then we'll gush or hate. Attack the Block was really good, really a fun movie. You have to go in knowing that it's an indie action film because there are some caveats, but still, really a great movie. If it's in your town, you need to go see it.
I agree. I think it was lots of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it had the pace of Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz I really liked. Obviously not as much money as those two movies, but
no,
still fun.
Yeah,
And you definitely should see it if it's in your city, which is a real bummer is they really didn't do a wide release of this because it's only in Denver, I think, until Saturday.
Really?
Or Sunday, yeah. It's only here for 1 week.
Well,
So-
maybe, and it may go wider than that because it's still in its early stages of being an indie release.
Yeah, so hopefully, and I hope it finds an audience.
It's got really good word of mouth, so I would hope that in New York and LA it's doing really well.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how empty our theater was, but still, yeah, it was really good.
It was fun. So roll the trailer, Brad, who's not fucking here.
What is that, cuz? That's an alien, bruv. Believe it. I landed in the wrong place, though. You get the wrong place.
Well, lads, he discovered a species hitherto unknown to science.
Believe.
Maybe there was a party at the zoo and a monkey shagged the fish.
Yo, check it.
Morph.
More what? Them things.
Ah, lovely fireworks.
Nah, mate, it's an alien invasion.
Of course it is.
I'm killing them. I'm killing them straight. Let's get tooled up, blood.
Quite sweet, really, aren't they?
No, that's different. That ain't even the same thing.
That looks triple the size, blood.
Everyone run! We need to get off the streets. Back in the block.
What kind of alien would invade some council estate in South London?
One that's looking for a fight.
What is that?
I'm pissing myself in it. But at the same time, this is sick.
I've got one text left. This is too much madness to explain in one text.
We have to call the police.
You'd be better off calling the Ghostbusters, love.
My name ain't Gavin, it's Mayhem, and he's Probs.
What if he kills us? No one's gonna ever call you Mayhem if you keep on acting like such a wussy.
We're going to Ron's weed room.
That's the safest place in the block.
What's Ron's weed room?
It's a big room full of weed, and it's Ron's. Wait, this is safe. Good luck.
Yeah, cool. I've never seen the trailer for this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I have, but the truth is that the word of mouth was so good from so early on that I've avoided most of the news on
Yeah,
this movie.
me too.
Going in, I knew very little about
You know,
it.
I did the same thing. I knew of the movie. I
Not
know
that it was hard.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that it was a story about a
Aliens.
gang of kids that were aliens came to Earth and they
Right.
fought them. I did not know.
And when you say gang, like, I didn't even know that they were tough, rough and tumble kids.
Yeah.
You know, that they were like a gang of kids.
And the block refers to this block that they live on, which is a tower in the middle, and they're all
Yeah.
kind of low income.
Yeah, it's
kind
like
of-
the project, sort of.
Exactly, but there's different levels. You know, the some of the apartments are nicer,
Yeah.
depending on how high you go up.
Yeah, it seems like it. And I think my assumption from after the movie is that block is also used as a term for like apartment building.
Yeah.
You know, that it because when they even say that, they're not even necessarily talking about the real whole block. They are. It seems like they're talking about that building itself. But anyway, that's, I mean, minutia.
Yeah, so the movie kind of gets going right away though, because it starts with this woman just on her phone and she gets robbed by these kids, and the alien crashes in and
Yeah.
attacks, and they kill the alien.
Which is basically the whole movie. All the characters in that scene are our characters, and there's an alien.
Exactly, and they kill this alien, but by killing this alien, more aliens come.
This is true.
And I actually thought the creature designs were pretty cool.
Yeah,
Because-
especially the first one. The fact that they went with a practical design,
Exactly.
and practical effects there was really cool.
And even the gorilla aliens, as they called them so many times.
The males.
The males in the movie.
Yeah, which is not even spoilers because they we're already in the spoiler section, Laura. Don't look at me like that. It's not even really a spoiler because pretty early on in the movie they give you a little piece of exposition that tells you exactly what's going on. even though the characters don't know it, like we know. Oh, well, the only reason you told us that is because that's what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, even the gorillas look really cool. The
It
idea,
because you don't see that. I've never seen an alien like that.
no, an alien that does not reflect anything in the visual spectrum. Cool.
Yeah, and it just has glowing teeth.
Just has glowing.
And that's a great reveal too,
And
because they say, "Oh, it's its eyes." It's not its eyes, and it's jaws chomping.
Yeah, it is. And I think from what I've heard, and especially looking at the way that the not animation, but the way that the gorillas or the males moved, I think that it was still a combination of a practical effect with CG on top of it.
I think so too.
I think that they had a real thing there, and then that they were CGing, basically CGing in the black and the teeth.
It did seem like maybe it was an actor who was running on his hands and legs,
Right.
and
Well, yeah, basically a guy in a gorilla suit that
Yeah.
they then CG'd out. Because I never felt to me like an entirely CG creature, like something that wasn't there
exactly.
at all. Which is either a compliment to the guys who did the CG animation or an actual observation of how they were doing it.
Absolutely. You know, what's cool about this movie, too, is you start off, the kids are bad.
Yeah.
And they're really bad, but throughout the movie, they start slowly redeeming themselves.
Right.
And you find out maybe it's not the kids, it's the environment they live in. And,
Yeah.
you know, there's...
And plus you're sort of on their side at a certain point. Like they are our protagonists, so you want them to survive there, and it just very slowly chips away at their exterior, so that while you still don't condone what they were doing before, you feel like, okay, but I like you enough that I'm able to forgive
Exactly.
what you were doing, even if it's not. I'm making excuses for it. It's which is it's a really neat dynamic. Very rarely do you get a movie like that where it's solely focused on bad characters. You know?
Yeah, you really don't. And the characters were actually, I thought, pretty funny. And the lead kid, Moses, he was really good in the movie.
He was. Though I have to admit that there's a weird thing where I have a hard time ever knowing when British actors with British accents are not good actors. There's something about the accent that just
British.
covers everything up. I'm like, it sounds cool. I think you're being
You know,
honest.
stream some of the British horror movies on Netflix, the zombies, and
Yeah, and I'll learn. Okay.
You'll learn.
Okay. Then I guess I've just seen good British movies.
You have.
That's probably all it is.
But-
yeah, because they're all great. The kid who plays Pest was my
Yeah.
favorite. Oh, so
Actually,
good.
my favorite were Probs and Mayhem.
Yes.
These two, 9-year-old kids who
Something like that,
who want
yeah.
to be part of the gang so bad that they follow them around and.
And they have one of the best plans to get rid of one of them.
Yep,
That was great.
it was.
Everything in it's a really tight script. It's a great movie.
I had lots of fun with it. You know, lately the movies I've seen, I've been having more fun at the movies than I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Because I actually think the summer has been really strong. Because
has.
even a movie that I wasn't sure about last week, Fright Night, turned out really good.
Yeah.
And this movie I knew was pretty good because I read the AV Club, which is in The Onion. I obviously follow it online, and it's getting really good reviews.
Yeah.
So you know that it's not just, hype.
And we haven't mentioned, you sort of hinted for a second, we haven't mentioned that it's produced by Edgar Wright, and Nick Frost is in it, but I think he maybe helped with it. He's not actually an executive producer. So it's from the people who made, and Joe Cornish, who wrote and directed it, is now Edgar Wright's writing partner on Ant-Man. I think they've been friends for a while.
Yeah.
So it's coming out of that camp.
Yes, and you can tell.
Yeah.
One of the things...
It's not camp, but it's not tongue in cheek the way that those movies
Yeah.
are. But it's
One of the things with Edgar Wright movies, almost all of them, I'd say, maybe except for Scott Pilgrim, especially Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, he always does these reveals where, in this one, he says, I can make that jump. In Shaun of the Dead, Shaun gets kicked by a soccer ball. He says, hey, man, leave me alone. You're dead. And they always have those kind of little foreshadowing in his movies, and that's how I can tell it's a Edgar Wright movie.
And it's got the kineticism that his movies have, where they
I think
are kinetic.
Yeah, I mean,
Good,
I thought
James.
the movie was fun, but Edgar Wright's more a visual director and a little more hyper. Which,
I don't know. It was great.
yeah, it's fun. It's really short too.
Yeah,
It seemed
but
like it was
like
pretty
I
short.
said, it's a concise movie.
Yeah,
It's not like it. It doesn't waste any time as well.
No, it's...
because basically you follow this little group of characters, and you really only have a story arc or a character arc for like 2 of them. So they don't have to do a lot, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And sometimes movies can be overly long.
Yeah.
Nowadays, but yeah, that movie was cool and
funny.
It was really funny.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, this is not a very exciting review of this movie.
Not. Well, and part of it is I don't want to talk about too much of it because, you know, it's... most people are not going to have seen this movie or get to probably until DVD, so...
Yeah, but they should see it. You know, it was really sad when I was reading the box office returns for Fright Night. It didn't do well.
And the reviews have not been as good as ours were.
Yeah, and it's really disheartening because, you know, movies that I really enjoy, I always like to see how they perform because I want to see those style movies again.
Right.
And then seeing a movie like Fright Night or Attack the Block where they won't do as well, it always makes me nervous because I say, oh, am I going to see another British funny horror comedy movie?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure I will. But, you know, that I always have that fear.
Yeah.
I even have fears of movies that do really well that I really enjoy. Like the remake of the Friday the 13th had the highest grossing opening weekend of any horror movie. And, you know, they don't make another sequel. So I always have that nervousness that I'm not going to see another movie like I enjoy.
Yeah. Well, and I understand where you're coming from there, but the unfortunate truth is that Fright Night, for example, say Fright Night does well. Well, they're not going to make... They don't understand at least this is how it reads to me, having watched movies my entire life. I don't think that Hollywood understands what pieces actually make that movie good.
Oh, yeah.
And so if Fright Night does well, then next year they're going to make another remake of an 80s horror film.
Yeah,
but it's not going to have all of the brilliant little choices that made Fright Night good. You know, Conan is another example of like, well, it's a remake and it's not that good, but if that movie did well, which it didn't really do that well, in fact it didn't do well at all, they're not necessarily going to make the next movie better. And Attack the Block, part of why Attack the Block is good is because it comes out of not having a lot of money.
And I guess maybe that's what helps that movie too. It doesn't have the pressure to make the money because I'm sure it was a couple million to make. I'm sure it wasn't that expensive, but
right. And I'm not saying that to tell you you're wrong. I'm saying that to make you feel better about like, well, if the movie doesn't do well, it doesn't actually necessarily mean that you won't see another good movie. Unfortunately, good movies tend to come out of the places you don't expect them.
But you know what's good about it is I can get it on Blu-ray and I'll have it forever.
This is true.
Until I die.
Yeah. And a movie like Attack the Block is a place where it can't, like I said with Scott Pilgrim, it can't do anything but help everyone in this movie.
Yeah, I
agree.
Because
everyone in this movie, when they say, I was in Attack the Block, even if the movie doesn't do well, because of the word of mouth on this movie, everybody knows, oh man, you did something good there. It may not have made enough money because it didn't have enough money behind it in the first place, but you did something good, and you know we'll see you again. Especially all of these actors who did such a good job.
I agree, and I mean every actor in that movie was really good.
Yeah,
there's not a weak member in it, and
no, man, what was his name? Hi-Hats. Oh man, that elevator scene.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
It was. I wasn't expecting that. I
was like, they are dead,
and everybody be dead.
Yeah,
it had the nice reveal of, I guess, the villain of the movie.
Yeah, to some degree. I mean, obviously, aliens are the villain of the movie, but as far as people,
the human element of the villain in the movie.
Hey, he was a cool aspect. Yeah.
Anyway,
and the scene in the hallway with the fireworks.
Yeah,
great. Just
that was
great. What a
cool suspense.
Yeah, and a smart way of building a scene that was very different from everything else in the movie.
And when that one character died, I actually felt sad because I kind of liked that character.
Yeah, because he was fat.
And he had glasses, so you kind of sympathized with him.
Right, because I was like, he is the nerd.
And you know what? They always get it. They
do.
I guess that plays on our heartstrings.
Fat kids can't run.
They cannot.
And they trip and then drop their knives across the hall. And they run into walls.
Yep, I would fasten the knife on an end of a broom and it'd be like a bayonet, and I just charge.
When they told her to run back in and get a weapon, I wanted her to come back out with a guitar.
That would've-
And
yeah, me
obviously,
too. I thought she was going to do that.
The knife that she had obviously had a purpose later on, but the guitar would have been or both. She should have had the guitar and the knife.
Yes.
And then broken the guitar over one, and then fastened the knife to the neck of the guitar and had a long spear-like
That'd have been awesome.
guitar knife.
Hey, maybe Attack the Block too.
Yes, that would be good.
It would be good.
Yeah, and this movie felt very reminiscent. And not the first time for this year. Very reminiscent of 80s.
Yeah.
Sort of sci-fi movies.
It did.
Especially that opening scene of like, there's shit coming out of the stars, and then the title comes up, and it's like the cheapest looking title screen you've ever seen.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it had the kind of this, even though
it had that slow
moved fast,
start. Yeah.
but it was a slow start.
Yeah,
it
the
was
first
a build up for
10 minutes or so is like, here's some kids riding on bicycles.
Yeah.
This is not E.T. Oh shit! That was on purpose. Anyway, it was really good.
Yeah. So go see Attack the Block
Mhm.
when it comes to your city.
Yeah.
Support cool independent movies.
I guess that's it.
That's it. Hey, kind of a short episode of Real Nerds, but you know what? When we come back, maybe we'll have a super long version. You never know.
Because we got to talk to Brad about all of the things that have been happening.
Yeah, because Brad's a dickhead and
he
hasn't
never
been
even.
here.
That's the thing. He hasn't been here since the 48-hour movie, which I wanted to talk to him about.
Oh yeah, did you watch it?
I did.
What'd you think?
It was pretty good. I think that the idea, I have a feeling that I know what the idea that they were given was, and I think it's a shitty idea.
Yeah.
And I think that the title is bad.
Yep. I don't want to say too much because all my friends listen to this.
Yeah, no.
Well, they don't know you, so please.
Right, yeah, no. I mean, I can go further, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, Brad.
Yeah. Well, he was late, wasn't he?
He was, so it didn't even
That's a
qualify.
shame.
But yeah, I really wanted to do it this year, but of course I have the worst fucking employees in the world, and so I had to work.
Yeah. And your boss is shitty.
Yeah, he's Iranian, so fuck him.
Oh, no, I was making a joke about you being your own boss.
About me being my own
yeah,
boss.
I didn't actually want you to start getting racist. Fuck.
No, I wasn't being racist. I was saying he's Iranian.
Oh. I guess I was being racist.
You went
So
right
you said
there.
he was Iranian. I
You went
assumed
right there.
that was an
Instead
insult.
of him, you're probably saying next is going to show up into your Qdoba with a bomb strapped to him. You're probably going to go there.
Oh my god.
Or that I've never seen his wife. You wanted to go there.
Well, thanks for listening to the very last episode of the.
No, they don't know who I work for.
This is true. Well, they know you work for Iran.
Yeah, hey, thanks for listening to Real Nerds. You can find us on Facebook. I guess it'd be on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like our page. This week we kind of skipped over what people wanted us to see because Attack the Block came. So
Yeah, that was a special.
So it's a special. But
Also, I didn't really care about anything that came out this week.
Exactly. So I'm glad. And you mentioned it in last week's episode, so I'm glad that it actually came.
Right.
Maybe you mentioning it, someone at Studio Canal said, hey, some dude in Colorado wants to see that movie. It's going there.
I did actually vote for it. There was a thing where you could vote to have the movie come.
Oh,
to
yeah, they
town,
did that
and-
for Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. They did that for Mystery Team, and it didn't come to Denver.
Yeah.
So
it's good that this one came.
Or it did, and I was not in Denver. That's also a possibility.
So yeah, like us on Facebook.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
Real Nerds Podcast.
I don't think we actually do anything with that. We should do something with the Facebook page.
I try to post every
Does the
once in
Tumblr stuff get posted there?
post on my page.
It posts on your page, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate because it doesn't format things properly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when I write things, I'm like, oh, that's awkward.
Like, wow, Ryan, you have a really different taste in movies than I was used to.
Yeah. Well, that's why I started putting my name at the top of articles,
Yeah.
so then it says James Hart, or Ryan Frost, James Hart.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you can go to Tumblr, realnerds.tumblr.com, but you have to be a member of Tumblr to look at our stuff. Me and Brad found out.
Since when?
Since, I guess, now you have to sign in for it.
That's some bullshit.
But it's a good thing we have realnerds@gmail.com where you can email us.
And complain about
and complain
Tumblr.
about whatever.
Yeah. Or anything. Just email us on anything.
Anything, because I checked our account before our show and we had nothing.
Send us some spam. If you even if you're someone we know who listens to this, just send some bullshit.
Totally, because we want bullshit to talk about.
Or yeah, even better, like a question or something to
That
talk
would
about.
Or tell us
You
that my favorite movie's stupid and I'll defend it.
Yeah, or just tell us that the podcast is shit. Send us emails and tell us that the podcast is shit and that you want them all to be as short as this one.
Yes.
So that you can ignore that too.
Exactly. That's all
That'd
we
be
need.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let us know. Let us.
Did
know
you say
that
the
we're listening.
email? You did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, thanks for listening. I'm Ryan. See you at the movies.
Bye.